but I'm Twinkmaxxing. It's a crazy feeling. There's no tired, there's no crash, there's no losing your words, your thoughts are crystal clear. It's such a good diet. You're never bloated, your face is never puffy, you're never inflamed. All of that goes away.
I can tell you, bacon is a spice. Bacon is a spice.
There's gotta be more to this fucking story. There's no way. You saw this. So, the Kamala Harris did a Subway Takes episode, and it was too bad to post.
What happened with Kamala?
Her take was really confusing and weird and not good. And so, mutually agreed that we shouldn't publish it.
Kamala Harris gave an interview before the presidential election that was so confusing and weird that she and the host agreed not to air it.
Oh, God. You know, I think a lot of people have rose-tinted glasses for Kamala, considering how bad Trump is in so many different ways. I mean, I'm not gonna say I do, but like, you know, you remember the good times. You always remember the good times when you're a teenager. When you think back to being 16 years old. Do you remember the time you were like depressed on a random Tuesday and like didn't do anything? Do you remember that 2-week span in January where you like didn't get to see your friends and you stayed inside and played RuneScape all day and like were kind of depressed and like, you know, heartbroken? No, you don't think about that. You think about the good times, right? And with Kamala, I think, especially in comparison to Trump, we imagine like that early campaign Kamala. When she came out and all of a sudden she was likable for 2 weeks. Everybody's really into Kamala for like 2 weeks. Kamala was brat, you know? You know, it was exciting. And Tim Walz was kind of interesting. And you think back, you're like, oh, that was Kamala. That wasn't Kamala. Kamala was the most hated vice president for 4 years in a row. Kamala was the most hated vice president in like the low, I think 27% approval rating, like the lowest approval rating in presidential history. And then she got cool for 2 weeks, and then she became like stifled again. They fucking like kept her in a closet, and she wasn't allowed to do fucking interviews because she was a very unlikable fake person. Again, probably would have been better than Trump. I don't think we would have bombed Iran if Kamala Harris was in. I don't know what would be of Palestine. There wouldn't be global tariffs. Brazil wouldn't have 50% tariffs on its imports right now from the U.S. if Kamala was in. But she wasn't that. She was pretty bad.
Social media personality recently revealed. Kareem Rama is the host of Subway Takes, a popular online series where guests are asked to admit their favorite hot take.
I can tell you, bacon is a spice. Bacon is a spice.
Bacon is a spice.
Rama admitted that the Veep's take was so bizarre that he didn't want to be blamed for her losing the election if the segment went live, so they killed it. The interview came as Harris was facing pressure to show her human side and reach new audiences through appearances with non-traditional media. While soon-to-be President
That's all it is? That's not that bad.
Outside of Cleveland, or I don't even remember where it was. It was somewhere.
I figured it was going to be, because I don't know, have you ever been to I did a story once in the Capitol, and they have a private...
There's got to be more to this fucking story. There's no way that bacon as a spice is a hot take.
What was Tim Walz?
This is melodramatic as fuck. Jesus Christ. This story is just psychic damage. This story is just pure psychic damage. It's like... I feel like that's on him. Because that's like... I don't know, man. Am I crazy? Trump be like, my daughter is hot, I want to fuck, but liking bacon is too weird. Yeah, I don't really feel like... I feel like that's on him. I'm going fucking insane. God. Okay, so the fucking the Harris campaign just shot themselves in the fucking foot. Look at my banner. This is a new low for journalistic entropy. Oy vey. Twinkmaxxing. If you haven't noticed, I'm still a little fat, but I'm Twinkmaxxing. You're gonna see the twinkiest me you've ever seen. I'm gonna be 6 feet, 160 pounds, just straight fucking twink, straight lean. I was inspired by Silver Lake. The fuck is Twinkmaxxing? Twinkmaxxing is losing a fuck ton of weight. That's what Twinkmaxxing is. I was in Los Angeles, and every guy in Los Angeles had a crop top with abs exposed, bootcut jeans and cowboy boots, and I felt underrepresented as a bigger man. Fucking Twinkmaxxing. I gotta get on the crop shirt. I gotta get on the crop. I've never been that skinny before. I'm very committed to it. I'm committed to it for fun, and I think this is what's changed my. Also, yeah, join the Discord. Link in the description. I think that's what's really changed my mind the most about losing weight, because I used to not care. I like being big. I like being a bigger guy. I got a big frame. 6 feet, 200 pounds. I'm big. I like being big. I don't like being small. But there's a novelty. I've never been tiny before. The leanest I ever was 172. And I had no muscle. Okay? Now I have a bit of muscle. I've been in the gym. I got good shoulders. I got good glutes. I got a big upper shelf. Okay? Now I'm interested. I want to see what I'd look like 12% body fat. I gotta see it once out of pure interest. And if I like it, I'm gonna stay that way. Flex can crash a coconut. I do have a fat ass. My biggest squat was 335. I'm like 2 weeks locked into keto right now. I've been sleeping like an angel. If you've never done keto, okay, and you're interested in trying keto, two biggest benefits. The consistent energy is fucking insane. I would do keto even if I didn't lose any weight, because the consistent energy is fucking insane. The energy is like, I feel from the moment I open my eyes, I don't feel different till the moment I fall asleep. It's a crazy feeling. There's no tired, there's no crash. There's no losing your words. Your thoughts are crystal clear. It's such a good diet. You're never bloated. Your face is never puffy. You're never inflamed. All of that goes away. And then also, the sleep is fucked up. I noticed this because, like, you know, when you go to bed, when you go to bed and you drift off, like, I'll be watching. I go to bed. I watch Balatro Let's Plays. I watch Raffle Light a lot when I go to bed. He releases like Balatro videos every day. That's what I fall asleep to. And I'll notice I'll like start to drift across 20 minutes before I fall asleep. Keto is like, I will be fully conscious, and then in 3 seconds, dead asleep. And then I wake up, and when I wake, my alarm goes off. It's like my eyes just shoot open, and I'm wide fucking awake. It's insane. It's like a superpower. If you can do keto and manage to maintain that diet, it's a little antisocial. It's great for a lock-in. If you want to crush like, if you're 6 months away from like success, if all that's separating you from what you want to be and like where you want your like business to be is 6 months, do keto for 6 months. Keto will keep you, because you can't drink beer, you don't get hungover if you do drink, you're never hungry, you can't eat out, so you're basically just stuck cooking fucking ground beef for yourself. I eat like ground beef and ricotta cheese every day. It's so simple. You're never inflamed, you're hyper focused, you sleep like a fucking angel. Your mood is always consistent, your energy is always consistent, and your focus is fucked up. I fucking locked in. No gluten with keto. Keto's no carbs. So no gluten, like no bread at all, no form of bread, nothing, no fried things, no potatoes, no fruit, no sugar at all. It's just like only protein and fat. So like I eat a lot of fucking like avocados, nuts, cheese, meat, eggs, oil, like olive oil straight. That's basically my entire diet. White Monsters can be included in keto. Yeah, Diet Coke, White Monsters, all the diet stuff is fine. Sucralose is a little fucked up. If you want to get woo-woo with it, sucralose is a bad one. Erythritol and stevia you want to stick to. Erythritol, stevia, monk fruit. Those things are much better on keto. Aspartame, sucralose, stuff like that, kind of maltodextrin, stuff like that fucks with your glucose. So what makes keto hard is sugar added to things you're not expecting. Yeah. No, it's difficult. I mean, yeah, just cook your own. It saves you money. You have to cook your own meals. Like, you have to fucking do like ground beef and fucking kale and cheese. Super easy. But I don't know. I'd recommend it, man. If try it and get 2 weeks in. And by 2 weeks, you will know. Because some people do it and they lose energy. Some people do it and they like feel like shit. If you're not skinny, if you're like have a bit of meat on your bones, you're totally fine doing keto. Just watch the don't like pig out on like bacon and shit like that. Just watch the fat. Like don't consume too much shitty fat. Don't consume like seed oils. People will like start eating like mayonnaise and shit like that constantly. Don't do that. Like just do whole foods, lean protein, red meat. Cheese is great. Nuts. You'll be totally fine. Oh yeah, sorry, that's the other thing. Keto is really bad for building muscle. It's good for keeping muscle as you lose weight. There's studies to back both these claims up. Because you're eating so much protein that when you're losing weight, you're not losing as much muscle mass. So it's really good for losing weight and not losing muscle mass. But also, you basically, unless you're like months into keto and your body is fully, because what happens is you deprive your body of carbohydrates and your body switches to burning fat for energy and produces like ketone bodies for energy from your fat, right? Same thing happens when you fast. So you need glycogen, which is created from carbohydrates in your muscles to like have explosive energy in the gym. So when you go onto keto, while your body is still adapting to using fat for energy effectively, your gym results will crash. Like you cannot build muscle on keto. Unless you're like, there's keto guys who like have been in keto for fucking 5 years. But again, just like, you know, I'm Twinkmaxxing. I'm trying to lose a bunch of fucking weight. I lost 95 pounds on keto. I used to be 270. My heaviest was 270. I got down to 175 only on keto in 8 months. So I've done it before. I can attest keto is a fucking like fuck Ozempic. If you want to be a normal person and not have like whack side effects from some bizarre pharmaceutical that just came out of nowhere, just eat fucking ground beef and chicken and cheese. You're totally fine. Show us the 270 pics. I think I've shown these before. Wait, not that. What is this? Some of these are funny.
I'd like to expand slightly on my last video. I want to try to put the power and benefits of meditation in perspective and see if I can make it click for anybody who is interested in taking up a meditation practice. And I'm going to use the same analogy that kind of made it click for me.
This is the middle of COVID, and all I did was do acid and meditate and fast. I was straight up like the biggest fucking hippie on the planet. Like I was the most woo-woo fucking... I would do like 3 or 4 day fasts, and on the 4th day I would go for like 10-kilometer runs, and I would meditate for like hours straight. Like I was so into meditation, I would meditate for like I would sit and meditate for hours, and I was doing like DMT, acid, and mushrooms every weekend, and I shaved my head because I was like unemployed. No, I worked night shift. I wasn't unemployed. This is right when the pandemic started. So this would have been, this is when the second wave. So the second wave in Nova Scotia hit really bad. And that was the way it killed the most people. There was one senior's home in Halifax that 60 people died in just this one home. So I remember school was remote, and I had moved home to Truro from Halifax in my parents' house to work at my dad's store. So I worked night shift. I was a painter. You want to talk about, I was the opposite of unemployed. I was doing grueling manual labor. I worked 50 hours a week as a night shift painter. So I would go in, my shift started at 10 p.m. and I clocked off at 6 a.m. and I would paint in like industrial grocery stores at night. So I was there, and in my free time I just look at the fucking like the shaved head and the spacers and the fucking Joy Division tank top. It was just all I did.
If you need any reason to start meditating, this is it. Now, when we're talking about human happiness, we're talking about an unmeasurable and unquantifiable idea. You know, the individual knows when they're happy and unhappy. And that's kind of all we can base it off of. So I want one to imagine a scale of human emotion from 0 to 100. Okay? And let's say 0 is a parent's funeral and 100 is like an orgasm. And everyone's baseline, their day-to-day emotion falls somewhere on the spectrum.
Why did they make this?
For most people, and actually for most of the Western world at least, people's baseline is like slightly below 50%. You know? Like everybody, or most people rather, are slightly unhappy as their base emotion. And whether that's because of money or worrying about the future or stress or their job or fears of not fitting in or anything you can imagine that clouds one's mind.
I'm speaking so slow and my accent's so strong.
Puts the average person just slightly unhappy, slightly desperate. Now, a meditation practice can take you just a little bit happier. It's not huge. It's not going to save your life, but it can take you from that slightly unhappy, if that's 45% on the scale I described, to 55%, which would be slightly happy. And
you know what's funny? Bredley is... I had a full, like, nervous breakdown a month after this video because I was abusing psychedelics so much that I lost my fucking mind in like existential horror. Because at the end of this summer, I moved to Ottawa in September. And I think this was taken in like April or May. And when I remember when I moved to Ottawa, I was like full like nervous breakdown. I remember I had this crazy. I was driving on the highway. You look like somebody who could be in a poly relationship. I was driving on a highway, and I hadn't slept for 2 days. I remember this emotion. I remember this feeling so well. I hadn't slept for 2 days, and I was driving on a highway. I had a phone mount on my shelf on my dash, and I was making crypto trades because I think this is the height of like the GameStop shit. I think I was making crypto trades as I was driving on the highway with 2 days without sleep, and I had to pull over, and I pulled over and like fucking went into like psychosis from this like nervous breakdown I had, and I was like on the side of a highway somewhere in Nova Scotia, losing my mind, like entering fucking like psychosis nonsense. I got back to my parents' house, and I didn't sleep for that night again. I went 3 days without sleep. I couldn't sleep. I was in like full like mania, and then I passed out and I slept for 26 hours. Like I didn't move for 26 hours. And then at that point, I was really into running. I would run a 10K every day. And when I woke up, I couldn't run anymore. Like I tried to go for a run, and when I would run, my legs would like hurt so bad I had to stop, but I couldn't run anymore. Like I don't know, I got like fucking one-shotted by God this summer. I was so out of my fucking mind. I say skinny too. I was like, I'm probably like 2 days into a fast here.
Imagine the difference in your life if you went from slightly stressed out to slightly happy. You just shifted 10% up. Imagine if your baseline emotion, if your day-to-day, if your default emotion was slightly happy.
That's a big old boy. I have so much more chest hair now. As a fat fuck. I was a fat fuck. I got a fat face too. I got big fat fucking cheeks. You know, when the fat starts like rising into your eyes, like that. Christ Almighty. And then that was the after. This was like this was the goal weight because I had like my goal weight written down. I had fucking that was the full drop. I do look like Shrek. Jeez, I look fucked up. Why is my facial hair like that? God, I had a girlfriend at this point too. If you could fucking believe, I had a fucking straight up had a fucking girlfriend. And I started thinking I was hot. I would post pics like this because I thought it was attractive.